Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight. Maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. Hello, my friend, and welcome. Welcome to this quiet space, just for us. Find a comfortable place to settle in, somewhere warm and soft. Maybe wrap yourself in a cozy blanket, or simply sink a little deeper into where you are right now. Take a slow breath, a really slow one, in through your nose, letting it fill you up like gentle moonlight, and out through your mouth, like a soft sigh leaving your shoulders. That's it. Let the day just drift away, like little clouds on a calm sky. Tonight, we're going on a journey, a very gentle journey, to a place woven from starlight and quiet dreams. We're going to visit the home of the Star Weaver, in a corner of the universe, so quiet you could hear a single snowflake fall on a silent star, lived a young soul named Anya Starlight. Anya wasn't loud, she wasn't fast, and she certainly wasn't one for bustling crowds. No. Anya preferred the gentle hush of twilight, the soft glow of the moon, and the company of the stars. Oh, the stars were her greatest comfort, her silent friends, her sparkling companions. She lived in a little village, nestled high in the mountains of a planet called Lumina. Lumina was a peaceful place, its peaks reaching so high they seemed to kiss the inky canvas of space. The air there was thin and cool, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers and something else, something faint and sweet, like distant wishes. Anya had a quiet job, a job that suited her gentle nature perfectly. She was a moonbeam polisher. Each evening, as the great silvery moon of Lumina began its slow climb, Anya would take her softest cloths, woven from the fluff of sleepy clouds, and gently polish the moonbeams as they landed on the mountain peaks. making them extra bright, extra clear, extra shimmery for all the night travelers and dreamers. It was a simple job, a quiet job, but it brought her a deep sense of calm, a feeling of being, right where she was meant to be. But lately, Anya had felt a tiny, persistent flutter, a little whisper of worry deep inside her quiet heart. It wasn't a loud worry, not like a storm, more like a little moth, gently bumping against a window pane. She had noticed that the stars, her beloved stars, seemed a little dimmer than usual. Not all of them, just some, and the spaces between them felt a little colder, a little less connected. She would look up at the night sky after polishing the moonbeams, her brow furrowed just slightly, wondering, are the stars feeling tired? She'd think, are they losing their sparkle? This gentle worry grew, not into fear, but into a quiet longing to understand, to help, in her own small way. One evening, as she was polishing a particularly long, silvery moonbeam, she saw something catch the light. It was tangled in the beam, something fine and shimmering, not like moonlight or stardust. It was a single thread, a thread of pure, captured starlight. And it looked loose, adrift, as if it had snapped from something important. She gently, ever so gently, untangled the thread. It felt warm to the touch, like holding a forgotten dream. It pulsed faintly with a soft, internal light. As she held it, a tiny, shimmering image appeared in her mind, like a reflection in a still pond. She saw glimpses of a vast, cozy quilt, made entirely of stars, nebulae, and swirls of cosmic dust, and in the center, a figure weaving with threads of light, the Star Weaver. Anya had heard the old tales, whispered on the cosmic wind, tales of the Star Weaver, a guardian of the night, who wove the very fabric of the starry sky into a great quilt of comfort, a quilt that wrapped around the universe, bringing warmth to lonely planets, gentle guidance to lost comets, and soft, soothing dreams to all sleeping beings. The tales said that the quilt held the glow of every happy memory, the shimmer of every whispered wish, and the quiet strength found in every act of kindness. But the tales also spoke of a danger, that if too many dreams were forgotten, if too much kindness went unnoticed, the threads of the quilt could fray, could snap, leaving gaps in the warmth, cold spots in the cosmos, holding the single loose thread. Anya knew, in her quiet, certain way, that the dimming stars, the cold spaces, were connected to this. The Star Weaver's quilt needed mending. And maybe, just maybe, this little thread had found its way to her because she was meant to help. Anya looked up at the sky again, the gentle worry replaced by a quiet, determined purpose. She knew she had to find the Star Weaver. She had to find the quilt. She had to help mend it. It wouldn't be easy. The Star Weaver was said to live in the most quiet, most hidden corner of the universe, a place reachable only by following the faintest starlight trails and listening with the softest heart. Her journey wouldn't be one of grand leaps or fast travel. It would be a journey of small steps, of patient drifting, of gentle observation. It would be a journey for someone like her, quiet and full of light. She decided to leave the next night, after her moonbeam polishing duties were done. She packed a small bag, a few Lumina night fruits that tasted like sweet captured moonlight, a bottle of dew collected from a wish-granting flower, and her softest cloud cloth, just in case. Saying goodbye was quiet too. She whispered farewell to her favorite mountain peak, to the wise old moon tree that grew near her cottage, and left a note for the moonbeams, promising she'd be back to polish them as soon as the quilt was whole again. As the moon dipped below the horizon, and the first hints of deep space twilight appeared, Anya stepped onto the path that led away from Lumina. Not a stone path, but a path that shimmered, like a trail of concentrated stardust. It was the path the old stories said led towards the heart of the quiet cosmos. The air grew cooler, and the silence deepened. It wasn't an empty silence, but a silence filled with the soft hum of distant galaxies, the gentle pulse of sleeping suns, and the inaudible whisper of cosmic currents. She took a deep breath, the cool, starlight-scented air filling her lungs, and took her first step onto the stardust path. The path wasn't straight or flat. It wound and curved like a lazy river through fields of sleeping comets that looked like giant fluffy dust bunnies, and past silent drifting asteroids covered in ancient glowing moss. Each step was soft, like walking on powdered moonbeams. Her first destination, or rather, the first place the gentle starlight thread seemed to pull her towards, was the Whispering Nebula. The thread in her hand pulsed a little brighter, like a tiny compass made of light. Drifting towards the nebula took a long time. Time felt different out here, stretched thin, like taffy made of twilight. There were no clocks, only the slow drift of cosmic dust and the gentle rhythm of her own quiet heartbeat. As she approached, the nebula grew larger, filling her view with swirling colors she'd never seen before. Soft pastels of violet and rose, deep indigos and shimmering silvers. It wasn't a solid cloud, but felt airy, like floating through a dream made of colored smoke. And the whispers. Oh, the whispers were everywhere. They weren't voices you heard with your ears, but with your heart, and with that quiet place behind your eyes. They were the soft murmurings of thoughts and feelings released into the cosmos, hopes, fears, dreams, memories, gently mingling and drifting. Remember the warmth of the sun. A whisper brushed past her, the joy of a shared laugh. Another drifted by, and a promise made under the stars. A third, they were beautiful, and sometimes a little sad, forgotten moments floating free. As she drifted deeper into the Whispering Nebula, she encountered the creatures who lived there. They were called the Nebula Nappers. They looked like giant, gentle moths, their wings made of the same shimmering nebular gas. They moved with exquisite slowness, their antennae gently sweeping the cosmic currents. "Hello," Anya whispered softly, hoping her voice wouldn't startle them. One of the larger nebula nappers turned its head, its enormous, gentle eyes, like pools of liquid starlight, gazing at her. It didn't speak with sound, but projected a feeling of quiet curiosity and immense peace. Anya held up the loose starlight thread. "Excuse me, kind napper, she projected back with her thoughts. I'm looking for the Star Weaver and the quilt. Have you seen threads like this before? Loose threads? The nebula napper extended a slow antenna, gently touching the thread. A wave of understanding flowed from it. Ah, the loose threads. We see them, drifting. Sometimes they catch on our wings, like tiny, sad tears. They come from the great quilt, the napper projected, from forgotten moments, from dreams that were let go of too soon, from kindnesses that weren't cherished. Anya's heart felt a little heavy hearing this. It was true. The threads came from important things that were lost or neglected. Do you know where the Star Weaver is? Anya asked gently. The napper shifted its vast wings slowly. The Weaver is where the quiet is deepest, where the oldest light sleeps. You must follow the quietest whispers, the ones that speak of enduring hope and patient love. It then gently brushed against her, and she felt a warm energy, a feeling of quiet strength flow into her. Take this, the napper projected, and a small, shimmering cocoon made of nebular silk detached from its wing and floated into Anya's outstretched hand. This cocoon holds captured whispers, whispers of comfort, and forgotten lullabies. The weaver may find them useful as new threads. Anya clutched the cocoon gently. Thank you, she whispered, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over her. Drifting out of the whispering nebula felt like leaving a warm, quiet bath. The colors softened. The whispers faded back to a gentle hum. She looked down at the starlight thread in her hand. It pulsed towards the next destination, the field of sleeping stars. The journey from the nebula to the field was long and silent, punctuated only by the distant, soft twinkling of active stars, and the occasional slow drift of a silent planetoid. Anya used this time to sit quietly, holding the cocoon of captured whispers, and thinking. She thought about all the forgotten things the napper had mentioned. Forgotten dreams, forgotten kindnesses. How easy it was, in the busy parts of the universe, to let things slip away, to forget the gentle moments, the quiet joys. She thought about her own life on Lumina, polishing moonbeams, a simple, quiet task. Sometimes she had wondered if it was important enough, if she was important enough. But holding the starlight thread and the cocoon, she knew that gentleness and quiet attention were incredibly important. Finally, she began to see them, the sleeping stars. They weren't bright and dazzling like the stars she knew. They were vast, spherical forms, glowing with a deep, soft internal light, like embers or giant sleeping pearls. They lay scattered across an immense, flat expanse of what looked like solidified stardust, ancient and velvety black. The silence here was different from the nebula. It wasn't filled with whispers, but with a profound, heavy quietude, like the silence after a very, very long sigh. It felt ancient, peaceful, and a little lonely. As she stepped onto the surface of the field of sleeping stars, it felt like walking on compressed velvet. The sleeping stars were vast, some the size of moons, others like small planets. Their surfaces were smooth and cool, radiating that deep, soft light. She saw movement then, tiny shapes darting amongst the sleeping giants. They were the stardust bunnies, small creatures, their fur made of shimmering stardust, their eyes like tiny captured sparks. They hopped with surprising quietness, their movements soft and light. Anya sat down on the edge of a sleeping star, the surface cool and smooth beneath her. She watched the stardust bunnies. They weren't playing loudly. Their games were quiet chases, soft nudges, gentle nose wiggles. One little bunny hopped close to her, its stardust fur shimmering. It sat down, tilting its head, its bright, spark-like eyes looking at her with trusting curiosity. Anya gently reached out a hand, and the bunny softly hopped closer, letting her stroke its shimmering fur. "Hello, little one," she whispered, her voice sounding loud in the deep silence. The bunny didn't flinch, just radiated a feeling of calm presence. She held up the starlight thread again. "I'm looking for the star weaver and the quilt." The stardust bunny's nose twitched. It didn't speak with thoughts like the napper, but communicated through soft internal vibrations. A feeling of deep understanding and a connection to the quiet light. It then gently nudged something with its nose, a small object lying near the base of the sleeping star. Anya looked and saw it was a tiny, intricate spool, wound with a thread that seemed darker than starlight, but just as luminous. It was a thread of quiet strength. The bunny seemed to say, without words, "This thread comes from the heart of the sleeping ones, from the strength they hold in their rest. The weaver needs this when the quilt feels heavy." Anya picked up the spool. It felt solid, yet light, radiating a feeling of quiet resilience. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. She looked around at the vast field of sleeping stars, realizing that even in rest, even in silence, there was immense power, immense strength. She carefully tucked the spool of quiet strength next to the cocoon of captured whispers in her bag. The starlight thread in her hand gave another gentle pulse, guiding her towards the next stage of her journey, the river of lost dreams. Leaving the field of sleeping stars felt like waking slowly from a deep, restful sleep. The deep silence gradually softened, replaced by a faint musical hum, the sound of the cosmic current she was drifting towards. Soon, she saw it, the river of lost dreams. It wasn't a river of water, but of shimmering, flowing light. The light was colored, not with the bright, pure colors of the nebula, but with the soft, swirling hues of half-remembered things, pastels of longing, deep blues of melancholy, vibrant gold of fleeting joy. It flowed, slowly, gracefully, through the inky blackness of space. The air here felt different too, thick with unspoken stories, and the faint scent of lavender and forgotten childhood afternoons. Anya found herself gently drawn into the current, floating on the surface of the shimmering river. Looking down into the depths was like looking into a cosmic kaleidoscope, swirling images, fragments of feelings, snippets of soundless music. These were the lost dreams, the dreams that people had forgotten upon waking, the dreams that had been set aside, the dreams that felt too small or too big to pursue. They drifted here in this quiet river, waiting, perhaps, to be remembered. As she drifted, she saw the creatures of the river, the dream fish. They swam through the current, their scales shimmering with the colors of the lost dreams. They were silent, graceful, their movements like liquid thought. She also saw the memory moths, like the nebula nappers, but smaller and more delicate. Their wings were translucent, showing glimpses of flickering images within, like tiny portable memories. They flitted from dream fragment to dream fragment, gently feeding on the feelings there. Anya reached out a hand, letting it trail in the shimmering current. It felt cool and slightly tingly, like touching a faint memory. A dream fish swam close, its large liquid eyes watching her. "Hello," Anya said softly, her voice barely a ripple on the surface of the river. "I'm Anya. I'm looking for the Star Weaver and the quilt." The dream fish paused, its shimmering scales pulsing gently. It conveyed a feeling of deep sadness and a profound connection to the flow of forgotten things. "The weaver needs the substance of dreams," it communicated, not with words, but with the movement of the current around her. "When dreams are lost, the river grows thin, and the quilt loses its brightest colors." Anya understood. The dreams weren't just for the dreamers. They were also threads, nourishment, for the very fabric of the cosmos. "Is there anything I can gather here?" she asked. "Something that could help?" The dreamfish nudged a particularly bright swirl of light in the current. It was a cluster of what looked like tiny, glowing pearls. "These are captured moments of pure wonder," the fish communicated. "The feeling you get when you see a shooting star, or hear a perfect piece of music, or witness an act of unexpected kindness. They are often forgotten in the rush, but they are powerful. The weaver can weave these." Anya carefully scooped the glowing pearls from the current. They felt like solid light, warm and bright, pulsing with joy. She placed them gently into her bag, near the cocoon and the spool. A memory moth fluttered close, landing delicately on her arm. Its wings flickered with an image, a clear memory of Anya as a child, on Lumina, watching the stars with wide, wondering eyes. It was a beautiful, simple memory, filled with pure wonder. The moth seemed to say, "Do not forget your own wonder. It is a powerful light." With a soft flutter, it lifted off and drifted away into the current. Anya smiled, a warm, genuine smile. She wouldn't forget. The river of lost dreams, though sad in places, was also full of beauty, and the quiet power of remembering to wonder. The starlight thread in her hand now pulsed steadily, pointing towards a destination she couldn't yet see, a place of deep quiet, beyond the river, beyond the fields, somewhere, at the very edge of the known cosmos. She drifted for what felt like an age, the river of lost dreams gradually growing fainter behind her. The silence returned, deeper than before, a silence that felt ancient and vast. And then she saw it, a small, unassuming asteroid, much older than the one she had passed earlier. It wasn't large or grand, but radiated an aura of profound stillness and ancient wisdom. There were no bright lights, no bustling activity, only quiet, and a faint, steady hum. The sound of patient work. This must be it, the Star Weaver's abode. As she approached, she saw that the surface of the asteroid wasn't just rock. It was interwoven with fine strands of what looked like solidified moonlight and threads of faintest nebula mist. The small structure on its surface was woven too, a dome-like building made of shimmering dark fabric, studded with tiny glowing points, like constellations captured in cloth. The entrance was simply an opening, a gentle archway. It didn't have a door, but felt inviting, warm, despite being in the cold expanse of space. Taking a deep breath, gathering her quiet courage, Anya stepped inside. The air inside was warm and smelled faintly of sleep, starlight, and something that felt like the most comforting memory you could ever have. The space was large and filled with a soft, ambient light that seemed to come from everywhere at once. And there, in the center of the vast space, was the Star Weaver. The Weaver was large, but not intimidating. They sat patiently, hunched slightly over something immense and shimmering. They were cloaked in robes the color of deep twilight, and their hands, which were long and graceful, seemed to shimmer with captured light. Their face was hidden within the hood of the cloak, but Anya could sense a gentle presence, a deep, kind wisdom radiating from them, and the something they were working on. Oh, it was breathtaking. It was the quilt, the Star Weaver's quilt. It was spread out across a vast frame, larger than any planet, filling the space with its quiet glory. It was made of patches of nebulae, rivers of starlight, swirling galaxies, and constellations, all woven together with threads of light and shadow and color. It shimmered, it pulsed, it felt alive. But Anya could see it now, the places where the threads were frayed, the spots where the light was dim, the patches that looked faded and weak. It was still beautiful, profoundly beautiful, but it was weeping, subtly, silently. The Star Weaver paused their work, their shimmering hands resting on the vast fabric. A gentle voice, a voice that sounded like the softest lullaby, resonated not just in the air, but in Anya's very soul. "Welcome, Anya Starlight," the voice said, and Anya didn't wonder how the Weaver knew her name. It felt right, natural. "I have been expecting you." Anya felt a rush of emotion, relief, awe, and that quiet determination. She stepped forward, gently, holding out the loose starlight thread. "Star Weaver," she said, her voice soft but clear. "I found this, and I saw the vision of the quilt. I wanted to help." The Weaver gently gestured, and the starlight thread floated from Anya's hand, drifting towards the quilt, where it nestled into a spot where a thread was clearly missing. "Ah, yes." The Weaver's voice was full of ancient sorrow. "The threads, they break, so many threads. When dreams are forgotten, when kindness is overlooked, when wonder is replaced by haste, the fabric of the universe, the fabric of comfort and connection, begins to fray." The Weaver lifted a shimmering hand, gently running it over a faded patch of the quilt. Each thread is a moment of connection, a spark of hope, a quiet joy. Each patch, a story, a constellation of dreams, a nebula of shared feelings. The quilt is not merely a covering. It is the weave that holds the quiet places together, that guides the lost, that brings comfort to the lonely. But it requires nourishment, attention, care. Anya felt a lump form in her throat. She looked at the vast, wounded quilt, and her heart ached for it, and for the weary weaver. "I brought some things," Anya said softly, opening her bag. She took out the cocoon of captured whispers, the spool of quiet strength, and the glowing pearls of pure wonder. She offered them to the weaver. The weaver took each item, gently, holding them in their shimmering hands. Ah, captured whispers from the thoughtful, quiet strength from the resting places, moments of wonder from the open hearts. The weaver seemed to absorb the essence of each item, and they dissolved into pure light, flowing into the quilt. And where the light entered, the colors brightened slightly. The faint weeping seemed to lessen. "These are precious gifts, little light," the weaver said, their voice filled with a touch of warmth. "But the mending requires more. It requires the gentle hand, the patient spirit, the heart that remembers the quiet importance of things." The weaver turned fully towards Anya. "My hands are ancient and tired. The task of finding each broken thread, of weaving in the new, requires a touch that is both light and infinitely patient. A touch that understands the delicate nature of dreams and the quiet power of hope." "Anya Starlight," the weaver said, and Anya felt a profound sense of purpose settle over her. "Will you help me? Will you lend your gentle hands and your quiet heart to the task of mending the Star Weaver's quilt?" Anya didn't hesitate. "Yes," she said firmly, her quiet voice ringing with sincerity. "I will help. I want to help." The weaver nodded slowly, a deep, ancient satisfaction radiating from them. "Then come closer, little light." Anya stepped closer to the edge of the vast quilt. Up close, it was even more intricate, like looking into the heart of 1,000 galaxies. The threads were indeed delicate, some fine as spider silk, others shimmering like liquid metal, but all beautiful, even when frayed. The weaver gently picked up a tool. It wasn't a needle, but a beam of focused moonlight, thin and bright. "This is a light scepter," the weaver explained softly. "It allows you to see the invisible threads, the connections that have become dim or broken." The weaver showed Anya how to hold the light scepter, how to trace its beam over the surface of the quilt, and as Anya did, faint, shimmering lines, like silver pencil marks, appeared on the dark fabric, showing the path of the broken threads. "Now," the weaver instructed, "we must find the new threads, the threads needed to bridge these gaps." This was the heart of the work, and it required immense patience and gentleness. Anya had to listen to the quilt, to feel where the warmth was missing, where the connection felt weak. The weaver would guide her, but Anya had to learn to feel it for herself. Sometimes, a broken thread needed a thread of remembered laughter, and Anya would have to reach into the cosmic currents, gently sifting through the echoes of joy, until she found just the right shimmer, the right tone. Sometimes, it needed a thread of undeniable awe, and she would have to recall the feeling of seeing a meteor shower for the first time, or the vastness of space from her mountain home. That feeling would condense into a shimmering thread in her hand. Sometimes, it needed a thread of quiet understanding, and Anya would draw upon the feeling of peace she felt polishing moonbeams, or the gentle communication with the creatures of the nebula and the sleeping stars. It wasn't about gathering materials from far away. It was about calling forth the essence of these things from the universe and from within herself. The weaver taught her how to use the light scepter to gently draw the essence into a usable thread, how to hold the delicate strands without letting them dissipate, how to find the exact starting and ending points of a broken connection, and then the weaving. It wasn't like using a physical needle and thread. It was a process of intention, of gentle focus. Anya would guide the new thread of light towards the gap, using her fingertips, which now seemed to tingle with captured starlight. She would have to coax the light, persuade the thread to reconnect, to weave itself back into the intricate pattern. This took time. A very, very long time. Hours blended into days, days into cosmic cycles. Anya didn't notice the passage of time. Her focus was absolute, her movements slow and precise. She worked beside the weaver, sometimes in comfortable silence, sometimes with soft guidance from the ancient being. She learned to feel the pulse of the quilt, to hear its silent needs, to understand its language of light and shadow. There were moments of frustration when a thread wouldn't settle, when a patch resisted the new light. But the weaver never showed impatience, only quiet encouragement. Gentle, little light. It requires trust. Trust in the thread. Trust in the weave. Anya learned to breathe with the rhythm of the quilt. Inhale, gather the essence of a forgotten joy. Exhale, gently weave it into the fabric. Inhale, feel the quiet strength within. Exhale, mend a fraying edge. She worked on patches that represented lost friendships, weaving in threads of shared laughter and forgiveness. She worked on sections that had grown dim from unanswered questions, weaving in threads of patient-seeking and quiet acceptance. She worked on areas that felt cold from loneliness, weaving in threads of gentle connection and the warmth of being remembered. She wove in threads of courage found in quiet moments, threads of hope that persisted despite darkness, threads of simple gratitude for the beauty of a single star. As she worked, guided by the light scepter and the weaver's quiet presence, she saw the quilt transforming. The faded patches brightened. The dim lights pulsed with renewed vigor. The frayed edges grew strong and whole again. The weeping stopped, replaced by a soft, contented hum. She recognized patterns she had seen from Lumina, constellations she knew well, now glowing with a clarity she had never witnessed before. She saw nebulae she had drifted through, their colors richer, more vibrant. She saw faint pathways she had followed, now clearly defined in shimmering light. The work was tiring, but it was a deep, satisfying tiredness, the kind that comes from doing something profoundly meaningful, something that aligns with the very core of your being. There was one particularly large section that seemed almost completely dark, devoid of light, and feeling incredibly cold. The weaver explained this patch represented forgotten dreams, dreams that had been not just set aside, but actively dismissed, scoffed at, told they were impossible or foolish. Mending this section was the most challenging. The threads were brittle, resistant. They seemed to shy away from the light. Anya had to call upon all the wonder she had gathered, all the forgotten lullabies, all the quiet strength. She placed her hands gently on the dark patch, closing her eyes. She thought of the dream fish, the memory moths, her own quiet dreams back on Lumina. She focused on the feeling of dreaming, the freedom, the possibility, the quiet hope. She began to hum softly, a gentle, wordless tune, the kind her mother used to hum when Anya was a child, a tune that felt like comfort and safety and believing that anything was possible. As she hummed, holding the essence of dreaming in her heart, faint sparks began to appear in the dark patch, tiny glimmers of light, hesitant, fragile. The weaver placed a shimmering hand over Anya's, adding their ancient energy to the process. Together, their combined gentle focus, their shared belief in the power of dreams, coaxed the light to grow. Anya began to weave, using threads spun from the essence of quiet belief, from the courage to hope, from the simple act of holding a dream in your heart. Stitch by gentle stitch, shimmer by shimmering thread. The dark patch began to fill with light, not the bright, dazzling light of active stars, but the soft, internal glow of dreams cherished, dreams nurtured, dreams remembered. It was a slow process, requiring infinite patience and a deep, unwavering faith in the quiet power of believing. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, but also like the blink of an eye, the last thread was woven, the last broken connection mended. Anya stepped back, her heart full, her gentle hands trembling slightly from the profound effort. The Star Weaver's quilt was whole again. It pulsed now, not just with light, but with warmth, a tangible warmth that filled the entire abode. The colors were vibrant, the patterns intricate and clear. The stars within it seemed to twinkle with renewed joy. The faint, sorrowful weeping was gone, replaced by a deep, resonant hum, a sound of perfect harmony, of cosmic comfort. The Star Weaver slowly stood, their shimmering hands sweeping over the magnificent quilt. "It is whole," the weaver's voice was soft and filled with a weary relief. "Thanks to you, little light. Thanks to your gentleness, your patience, your quiet heart." Anya felt a wave of profound peace wash over her. She hadn't done it with strength, or speed, or loudness. She had done it with stillness, with attention, with kindness. The very qualities she sometimes felt were not enough. "The quilt will hold for a time," the weaver said softly, "but the universe is vast, and forgetting is easy. Threads will always need mending. Dreams will always need remembering." The weaver turned to Anya, their face still hidden in the hood, but Anya felt their gaze, warm and knowing. "You have a gift, Anya Starlight, a gift for seeing the quiet light, for hearing the silent needs. Your gentle hands are strong in ways that matter most. Carry this knowledge with you," the weaver continued. "Know that the simple acts, the quiet moments, the gentle connections are the threads that hold the cosmos together. Your job on Lumina, polishing moonbeams, is not small. It is part of the great weave, making the light clear for others to find their way." The weaver reached out a shimmering hand and gently touched Anya's forehead. Anya felt a warm spark settling into her mind, a feeling of knowing, deeply and truly the importance of gentleness, the power of quiet hope, the value of every single cherished dream. "Go now, little light," the weaver said softly. "Return to your moonbeams and your quiet mountain home. But remember the quilt and the threads. And whenever you feel the universe grow cold or the stars seem dim, remember that you carry the light within you, the light that can mend, that can warm, that can connect." Anya bowed her head respectfully, her heart overflowing with gratitude and understanding. "Thank you, Star Weaver," she whispered, "for the wisdom, for the trust." She turned and walked towards the gentle archway, leaving the Star Weaver and the magnificent humming quilt behind. As she stepped back out onto the ancient asteroid, the starlight thread she had carried dissolved into a shower of soft, golden sparks around her, a final blessing. The journey back felt different. She didn't need the starlight thread to guide her now. The path was clear within her heart. She drifted back through the place of deep silence, now feeling peaceful and full. She floated back along the river of lost dreams, and this time, the dreams didn't feel sad, but expectant, waiting. Maybe now, more of them would be remembered. She passed through the field of sleeping stars, and the stardust bunnies seemed to shimmer a little brighter. She drifted through the whispering nebula, and the whispers she heard were now full of warmth and quiet contentment. The stardust path appeared before her, leading back towards Lumina. It felt shorter this time, or maybe her steps were more certain, lighter. Soon, the familiar peaks of Lumina were in sight, and then her quiet village nestled amongst the mountains. The moon was rising, already casting its soft light. Anya returned to her small cottage, tired, but filled with a deep sense of peace. The moonbeam cloths were waiting, soft and ready. She picked one up and walked out to the familiar polishing spot. As she began to polish the moonbeams, gently, mindfully, she saw the light flow from her hands, not just the light from the cloth, but the light that had been woven into her at the heart of the cosmos. The moonbeams she polished that night seemed extra bright, extra clear, radiating a warmth she had never felt before. She looked up at the stars, and yes, some were still dimmer than others. The universe was a vast and ever-changing place. But she no longer felt that quiet worry. She saw the stars, not just as distant lights, but as part of the great quilt, a living, breathing tapestry of dreams and connection. And she knew that even in her quiet corner, polishing moonbeams, remembering kindness, holding on to wonder, and cherishing her own dreams, she was helping. She was part of the mending, part of the great weave. Anya Starlight continued her quiet life, polishing moonbeams by night, enjoying the simple beauty of Lumina by day. But she carried the wisdom of the Star Weaver always, deep within her heart. She knew the power of gentleness, the strength in quietness, the importance of every single thread. And sometimes, on particularly clear nights, she would look up at the sky and she would feel a faint, warm hum, the sound of the Star Weaver's quilt, holding the universe in a gentle embrace. And she would smile, a soft, contented smile. And so, my friend, as you settle deeper into your own quiet space, perhaps you can imagine that you too are wrapped in the Star Weaver's quilt. Feel its gentle warmth around you. Feel the shimmer of stars, the softness of nebulae, the quiet hum of all the cherished dreams and kind moments woven into its fabric. Know that your own quiet moments, your own gentle thoughts, your own dreams, are precious threads in this great tapestry. Feel the comfort, feel the peace. Let the soft light of the quilt soothe any worries, quiet any anxieties, and guide you gently towards the land of dreams. Just like Anya, you have a light within you, a gentle strength, a quiet power. Trust it, nurture it. Now, just relax. Let your body feel heavy and soft. Feel the support beneath you, anchoring you gently. Breathe in peace. Breathe out any remaining tension. In, calm, out. Release. Feel the Star Weaver's quilt wrapping around you. Cozy, warm, safe. It is made of all the love in the universe, all the quiet joys, all the gentle hopes. You are safe. You are loved. You are connected. Drift now on the soft currents of sleep, carried gently by the Star Weaver's quilt. Sleep well, my friend. Sleep peacefully, and may your dreams be bright and beautiful, woven with starlight and the quiet magic of the cosmos. Good night. Sleep tight. The stars are watching over you, gently, always. Sweet dreams.